This is the actual skin of the whale. And then you have a good 2 inches of solid fat and then the protein.
In this video, you're gonna witness one of the world's most controversial meats, sourced on a tiny collection of islands in the North Atlantic.
The color of the dried whale, it's amazing. It is like black.
But first, let's back up. Hunting pilot whales here in the Faroe Islands goes back generations. These whales are an abundant source of food, once critical to a place where agriculture is nearly impossible.
I've never tried whale in my life. I know you've had it once or twice before.
Once or twice? Hundreds of times.
But in recent times, animal activists have condemned the practice, staging protests in an effort to save the whales.
If you try to look with the foreigner's eyes, you see that it's very, very rough. Lots of blood, many crazy men shouting and things like that.
The reality now is that people don't have to do it,
No.
but they still continue. Why do you think that is?
Today, in order to understand the locals, I'm gonna eat like a local.
What is the most you've ever gotten one day?
200, 300 kilo. That was pure meat.
I'm on a mission to discover why this practice still goes on, and if their actions today could lead to these animals going extinct forever.
Is this sustainable?
It all starts with breakfast. Before you can understand whaling, you need to understand how important the ocean is to this small collection of islands. Fishing and fishing products account for 95% of this nation's exports. Among those is salted cod, or bacalao, a daily staple for many islanders.
Here, what they are specializing in is salted cod. What do you know about cod?
A lot.
Tell me everything.
This is Bjarki. For decades, he was a sailor and a fisherman.
I have been fishing a lot of cod, you know. Thousands and thousands of tons of cod.
This morning, our breakfast is a 2-course bacalao meal, starting with a soup. The salted fish is soaked in water for 48 hours to rehydrate and reduce its brininess. Then it's cubed. Cubes of salmon, potatoes, carrots, and bacalao are piled in a bowl with parsley sprinkled on top. The colorful heap is submerged in a steamy soup made from fish bones, sriracha, cream, salt, carrots, onion, and thyme.
I'm gonna try just some of this broth. Oh, that's delicious. Oh, it's so buttery and creamy. It tastes like a gravy.
Yeah, tastes very nice.
The fish tastes good. Still very salty, but not too salty. I like it.
There's very, very, very little of it, huh?
You would put more cod?
Yes, of course.
Are most people on the island eating cod as kind of a daily food?
I think so, yeah.
And how many protests were on the island for people against cod fishing? I mean, they're alive, they're creatures of
None.
Oh,
I have never heard any protests.
okay. I was just checking.
Yeah.
Boom, main course right here. Does this look familiar?
No.
Well, it probably shouldn't. You know, it's elevated food.
Our main course starts with mashed potatoes and salted fish whipped together. Complete the dish with mixed seeds, pickled gooseberry, and something I call Faroese fish sauce.
You know what this is in the middle, right?
Fermented sheep tallow.
So it's fermented too. If I eat it just like...
No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, no, that's very little. You can eat that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's pure fat, pure oil. It's almost a buttery texture, but it's between being rancid and like fermented like a soy sauce. It has a wonderful flavor to it, but it's just too much to have straight. I think you need to mix it up a little bit. That's awesome. Really packed full of flavor and very rich. And there's like pickled gooseberries that are a little bit sour too. Is that what you grew up on? Fish, potatoes?
Yeah.
When it comes to types of fish, are there any fish that are off limits?
No.
I'm a little disappointed because I heard that there's whale meat in the Faroe Islands. Well, there's no whale meat here at this restaurant. Do you think it's illegal to sell in restaurants?
I don't know about that because I wouldn't go out and eat whale. I do it at home.
A bay dyed scarlet. Lines of massive whale carcasses. When the topic of a Faroese whale hunt, known as a grintadrop, is mentioned, these are the images that appear. Bjarki has also partaken in dozens of whale hunting missions throughout his life.
How old were you the first time you saw or partook in the grint?
Maybe just after I could walk, or maybe my mother took me with her to watch it.
Bjarki offers me a more profound look at the tradition by bringing me to Bur Bay, a grint destination now clear of its occasional red-stained waters.
Could you show me exactly how it works?
A grint always starts with a sailor, spotting a pod of pilot whales wandering into the Faroese fjords.
Then you have to send a message from boat to boat until it reached the land. And then they were running and crawling Grindabo all over the villages.
Upon receiving the call, the townspeople drop what they're doing and rush to the beach with their whale harvesting tools. Meanwhile, the chasing has begun offshore. Fishing boats on shore work as a flotilla to herd the pod of whales toward the beach.
When you come close here, you make noise, you can use your screw, the propeller on the boat,
And what's the purpose of that?
scare them, and then they come up onto the shore. So you weigh out into the sea and have a hook and you put it in the nose hole. And then you drag them in this way until somebody reaches and kills them then.
Each whale is put down with a cut behind its blowhole in order to sever its spine. Then each body is meticulously measured and lined up on the beach, waiting for the townspeople to claim their share of the catch.
How many times can it happen in a year?
Very, very, very different. It can be none, it can be 10, 20 maybe.
The Faroe Islanders never deliberately set sail in search of pilot whales. A grint only happens when a whale pod comes too close to the islands. This has been the tradition for over 1,200 years. But ever since the 1980s, this millennium-old practice has been challenged by international scrutiny.
Why is no one protesting cod?
They don't see the kill. Here you see it. The sea is red and you can see it for hours after the kill.
I'm filming a show here on the Faroe Islands. If the grint happened now and we showed up to film with our cameras, what do you think would happen?
They will throw you away.
They wouldn't be happy about that.
No, they're worried about these people are bringing wrong information to the world about us. They tell we're chopping the whales up in pieces and doing these things for fun and we don't eat it and things like that.
Today, with 80% of this nation's grocery products imported, it's fair to ask if it's necessary to continue whaling for food.
This is food from this area. You don't have to bring your food with ships and airplanes and then polluting the air. You eat the food that belongs to your area. You understand that?
I totally understand. Eat seasonal, eat locally, stop pollution, stop flying or shipping peaches from South America to Thailand to be put into a can and then be shipped back to the USA.
Every documentary about Faroese whaling stops here. But for me, it's not enough. I want to visit a local family, learn their story, and find out why the Faroese people won't replace whale meat in spite of its controversial reputation.
Here are some beefs,
What's beef meat?
steaks.
So just pure meat, no blubber, no fat.
Like your favorite serial killer, Ian's normal appearance suggests nothing about what he has inside his fridge, though in this case, it's a load of whale meat. This is a steak from a long-finned pilot whale, the most common species caught in the Faroe Islands.
Do you have any other ones?
Here is dried.
The color of the dried whale is amazing. It is like black.
As whaling here is not a commercial event, the whale meat is divided among the grint participants. The most Ian has ever received from a single grint was 400 pounds of meat.
So how long can you keep this?
Several years.
What's the oldest one?
I don't have it for that long. It don't get better.
Yeah, it's not like wine, right?
Before we sit down to a whale-heavy meal, Susanna, the lady of the house, gives me a tour of today's uncommon ingredients.
You have so much behind you right now.
Yeah.
Maybe you could like pick up a dish and tell me about it.
This is the fresh meat, no fat in this one.
Not much of a smell. The color is so dark, almost black. That is so interesting. And that's not been dried or cured or anything like that, but it was maybe frozen.
Yeah.
And then this.
Fresh blubber.
Oh, the smell is so unique. It's so interesting. It's a little briny. Maybe it smells like if I wear a gym shirt and then I put it on the ground and I forget to hang it up and I smell it the next day. Sorry, I'm not trying to insult your whale blubber. This is the actual skin of the whale. And then you have a good 2 inches of solid fat and then the protein. This huge layer of fat is what coats the entire animal to keep it warm in the water. That is remarkable.
In Greenland you eat this raw, but we always cook it.
You know what I'm thinking. Do you want to try it raw right now?
No, not this one.
Turns out, I can't eat blubber that's not been cooked, but this has been cured.
So this is soft preserved blubber. So you eat these together with the dry meat.
So your husband showed me this, but that was wrapped in plastic. This is just dense, it's pure protein. It's like a brick. It just smells like normal dried fish. Can I rip it in half?
You can try it, but I don't think you...
Oh, you're... Oh, I thought I could. Oh, I'm spoiling it, sorry.
The dried whale meat and salted blubber are sliced thin and laid with potatoes. This will be my first taste of whale meat.
This is the most black meat I've ever seen in my life. Susanna, it's supposed to be that black?
Yes, are you scared or something?
Yes, a little bit. Oh, that's so interesting. It's so weird. It's yummy.
It is.
The texture is amazing. Kind of dense, but soft. The taste is like they fused together a cow and a fish, and then it creates this kind of flavor. It's beefy and fishy somehow at the same time. And then it just has a very strange, bizarre aftertaste that I can't really pin down. It's not like anything I've ever had before, but as far as dried meats go, it tastes excellent. Susanna, where did you learn these recipes from?
From my grandmother, my mother, my father. We have always used it like that.
That's how you know it's good. But next, we have the blubber. Now, I've been told to cut the blubber with other food. Can I eat the blubber alone?
You're brave enough to try it alone?
Why did she say brave? Why did she say that?
Yes.
Oh, wow. It has a slightly kind of rancid smell to it. Oh, I know what it smells like. It's like my wife's feet when she takes her socks off at the end of the day. I mean, I love that smell. Wow, it's so oily.
Yeah?
But I gotta say, the smell is more powerful than the taste. The taste is nice.
And it's not heavy oil, it is light oil.
Yes, I agree. It's not like pork. It's not like a buttery, thick oil that coats your entire mouth. It's like a lip gloss. I can start to see how this is something that people wouldn't want to part with, because that is an experience like no other, unreplicable. Cannot replace that with something else. You could only take it away.
While I'm starting to understand why Faroese people don't want to part with this unique delicacy, one important question remains. Will this tradition eventually lead to the extinction of an entire species? Today, Susanna welcomes us with a special dinner with 2 main courses consisting largely of whale meat. First, she boils whale meat with salt for an hour before adding more ingredients.
How many times a week are you preparing whale?
Not every week. Actually, sometimes once a month. When you have children, especially girls, we shall not eat so much whale meat because of the metal, this heavy metal.
Like mercury?
Yes.
Oh.
When the meat is soft enough, she adds in potatoes, chunks of fresh blubber, and salted fresh blubber.
I was trying to figure out the smell earlier when you were cooking. Now I can say it's kind of like cheese.
We knew the smell before we knew the cheese, so
We will say the opposite
we
way.
will say
yeah?
the opposite way.
Okay, so this is so similar to what I already experienced with my little appetizer. So you've got the fat, the protein, and the carbohydrate.
Yes.
I was told I ate it incorrectly earlier. Actually, I forgot to add the potato. So I'm going potato, protein, fat. Wow, it's such a powerful taste, a lot of flavor. It's something very new to get used to, so I'm trying to enjoy it, but I'm trying to understand it at the same time. Earlier today, we tried some of fermented sheep tallow, and it was like this flavor bomb. It had so much power and so much flavor, and that's kind of what I experienced something similar when I'm eating this. When you are sectioning up a whale and butchering it into different pieces, how many different cuts are there?
I don't know actually, but it is the dry one and the different fresh one and sticks.
Like with beef, whale steak seems to be a favorite here. Susanna's personal recipe starts with a whale steak marinated in vinegar and water overnight.
It's cut very thin.
Right, it's like a flat steak, but it's just completely black.
Susanna cuts the steak into smaller pieces, coats them with a flour and pepper mixture, then pan fries them with slices of onion.
On the island, what % of people here do you think eat whale meat?
It depends where you live. I think in this village, almost everyone. But if you are in Tórshavn, I don't know.
To complete the dish, she adds beef powder and boiled water, then lets it simmer for half an hour.
Do the young generation eat it too?
Yeah, it was going down slowly. And then when we had this confrontation from the international community, there were some people here who came to the conclusion that no, they are not going to decide what we shall eat. So there were many young men and people, patriots, who said we will really keep our tradition.
It's a completely different experience.
Yeah?
I thought it would just be so dry. I mean, it's just such a lean meat. It's not dry at all. It's not tough. It has a slightly livery taste to it, and it actually tastes a little bit like venison.
To sweeten it, we have this rhubarb jam, yeah?
This rhubarb is amazing. Really sweet, really delicious.
Do you like it?
It's gone. I ate it all without thinking about it. What stands out to me the most is the idea that these foods are kind of irreplaceable. There's no way that you can just say, well, just eat something else. Just eat chicken.
No.
I can feel the frustration people have when outsiders say, we're gonna take this away.
Yeah.
You can't have this part of your culture anymore, this thing that you grew up with. And so I guess the biggest question I have is this sustainable?
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
yeah. Absolutely.
And how do you say that with such confidence?
Because they're living in the North Atlantic and we don't hunt them. We just take the few of them that comes through our fjords. How can we kill the population that's living in the total North Atlantic? We can't do it.
It's estimated that about 1 million pilot whales live in the wild today. Far fewer than 1% of that population ever swim near this tiny archipelago in a given year.
When I see what they're doing in Japan, there's a lot of people there who want to eat whale, and they're going out into the ocean and they're looking for big whales that live in limited numbers, and they're doing it under the guise of research, but then they have to eat the animal so they don't waste the meat. And it doesn't seem like that can last forever. But here, it's just whatever happens to pass by this small island in the middle of the ocean, you get a piece of that, and that's it.
Every year, about 800 pilot whales are caught in the Faroe Islands. The Faroese authorities have accurate statistics of whale catches dating back to 1584. It's the oldest, unbroken hunting statistic of any wild animal.
Do you think in 50 years from now, the glint will still be happening?
It's very difficult to say because, as you know, the culture is changing a lot.
Also now they say that please don't eat it because it's not healthy to eat.
Because they won't eat it because of the mercury that could harm their babies. And when the wives in the house doesn't eat it, why should the men then eat it? And they're not going to start eating it when they are over 50.
Yeah, of course.
This controversial Faroese tradition doesn't notably impact the whale population. The harvesting doesn't destroy habitat. There is no bycatch, and there are 0 food miles. Still, the whale hunt remains a source of controversy. Many have characterized the islanders here as bloodthirsty barbarians killing for sport. But from what I can see, governing bodies have taken the protests to heart, altering their hunting methods to be conducted in the least painful way possible.
It's called a spinal cord lens. So the idea is, you take this, point it in around a hand behind the blowhole and just stab it in.
And there would be a blade there.
There will be a blade here.
Is this the old style or the current style?
This is in current style. In the old days, they only use the knife. It can take a bit of a while.
Now, how long does this take?
As fast as you can do this. So 2-3 seconds. I'm a hunter. The first thing you do, or you want to do, is try to make as less suffering. It doesn't matter which animal, if a fish, a whale, bird, it doesn't matter. Try to kill it as quickly and humanely as possible.
Best Ever Food Review Show is a small team of independent creators, and everything we do here works because of you guys. Click the link in our description to join our Patreon and receive exclusive benefits. A peace. Boom, guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. My gosh, Faroe Islands. I cannot believe I'm here, and I can't believe how crazy this video was. I hope you enjoyed it, but that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. A peace. All right, reference to whatever happened in this video. No, I didn't pee my pants. That's water.